saying it's okay to apply corporal punishment. And again, that's the reason we've asked the state attorney to get involved to make sure that that this is much more than corporal punishment. So.
You said incidences like this have happened in the past. You've gotten calls, but this is the first time you've collaborated with the Department of Children and Families to sort of investigate the matter. What other sort of situations have you found in the past?
No, actually, we have actually been out before with DCL, and we've had calls before of reports of different things from the sheriff's office. We actually had a large major fire there several years ago that was a vehicle fire that no one knew how it started. We've had a couple of minor reports we have, and I'll let Ms. Abrams talk to you about the DCF part, but you know, it's something, it's almost like a jail inmate reporting that he's being abused by a correctional officer. It's kind of hard to go out to the jail and expect him to, you know, to give you the whole story. That was the reason today that we decided that because of the seriousness of this, we wanted to get these kids out of that and interview them out of that area. And they have quite a few stories to tell.
What will happen to the kids now? Will be returned to their parents, I take it?
Ms. Abrams is working.
Yes, we're in the process of making contact with parents, and we have made contact with all but 3 of the parents as of now, and maybe that was in the last 30 minutes, so we may have reached all families now. The families are either in the process of driving here to pick up their child or to make other arrangements for them. So we have one child who was planning for discharge anyway, and he had a plane ticket, so he's getting ready to get en route to go home. One of the things that we wanted to do was just to ensure the parents that the boys are safe now. We're working with the Gulf Coast Children's Advocacy Center and the physician there to conduct physical exams on the young men and ensure that their safety. So we want to first, you know, tell the parents right now the boys are safe, assure them that they are going to be in safe and licensed facilities tonight if they have to stay over.
How did boys end up in the facility? I heard that maybe they were court ordered to this facility or that the parents sent them there. How did they end up there?
Our understanding is this is all parental placement. This is not a licensed facility in the state of Florida. It's not licensed to accept children through the state of Florida. There were 1 or 2 children who were from Florida, but they were all placed by their families.
How does a facility exist that's not licensed in the state of Florida?
That would be part of the investigation into that. I know that there's been calls to the county to see if they had any kind of occupational license to run any type of facility, and what we're understanding is there's nothing in place right now.
Any idea of their source of funding?
Not at this time.
It appears that some of the parents, I believe, are charged for doing this. They actually pay for the boarding of these young men, and it, again, I mean, it's just, we're just at the beginning of it. We have a lot of questions ourselves. We're trying to answer. You know, you got 17 boys here, and we have to go through their stories, and certainly we're not just taking their word that something happened. We're having to corroborate this information and show that it actually happened, and you know, and so it's going to be a lengthy investigation.
Was there any sort of violence where adults directed the boys to be violent to one another? The thing about the ropes, and so were there those kinds of incidents as well? Well,
the incident that that really kind of set this off Tuesday morning was, as a result, we learned that according to the boys that were there, that they were sent there to catch this other boy, and they were actually told to beat the boy. And one of them said he did hit him. The boy had a broke nose. So we have three people that have actually cooperated that the facility sent them out to catch this young man and beat him before they brought him back.
I think the website said something about they received military training.
The website, I actually looked at the website, and I'm not real sure. It's got a lot of stuff there, and you know, it's involved with religion, you know, and you know, again, I'm not real sure, you know, portions of it certainly appear to be, you know, a place where I'd want to send my kid if he was in a trouble situation, but then things that we're hearing that is may not be like it portrayed in the on the webpage, and obviously it's not from what we've learned today.
And in discussion with some of the parents, they were not aware of this type of punishment, this kind of treatment that the boys were getting.
If you knew a facility like this wasn't licensed, why did it take so long for this to, for the boys to be, or for the facility to be shut down?
Well, first of all, no one really, you know, there was not any substantial information that would lead us to shutting the facility down or the boarding place. There, people are able to get around laws by calling themselves churches and boarding houses and things like this, and this had some church affiliation. Now, I don't mean that all churches, certainly don't take that wrong, but I'm just saying this was one of the auspices that they used, that it was a...
Sometimes they're exempt from some of those requirements.
Yeah. A church-type facility is exempt. And they may very well have some kind of license. We just haven't found one yet. So again, we're still at the beginning of this.
Can you speak to the ages, or is it a big age group, the teenagers?
It's all teenagers.
13 to 18.
Yeah, one adult.
They actually attend classes, and I think we actually found one young man that was 18 years old that had graduated, or was going to graduate, but it's not an accredited graduation, I believe, and it was going to be something equivalent to a GED, is my understanding.
How long, what was the time frame for them to stay there? Did they stay for their entire teenage years, or did they stay, you know?
I talked with one young man that said that when he was 6 years old, he was sent there, and he stayed for 2 years, and that his dad got him, and he stayed gone a year, and then his dad brought him back, and he's been there ever since, and he was 14 years old. Some kids we talked to today had been there 3 months, 4 months, 8 months, 2 years. I mean, it's just an assortment of information we're developing.